Welcome to Fuel. Fuel stands for Finance, Unity, Empowerment, Legacy. Join us today as Dr. Jackie, Dennis, and Mac continue their discussion on Mindsets, Part 2, here on Fuel. Subscribe to our YouTube channel at Fueling Future Generations, where you can see all of our content. And make sure you click on the bell notification so every time we post, you will be informed and ready to see what's going on at Fuel.
The reason why we created Fuel is because we want people to understand that they can gain the knowledge and be in charge.
True. You know, here's the thing, Dr. Jackie. Imagine a world where the average person wouldn't even have to worry about going to the horseshoe, because they already have a system in place,
right?
That they don't have to rely on that quick money. And honestly, money that is coming from means that may not always be so morally correct, So what if you could actually be your own banker? What if we had the educational things out there that people could learn this from the age of kindergarten and begin to learn these principles and concepts? What a world that would be. So since I'm talking in a dream right now, that's what makes what we do that much more important, to represent well, to expose that there is a need for doing something different than what you're doing now. Because to your point, Dr. Jackie, if you have a person with that educational foundation, they realize that, wow, I'm really behind the eight ball.
Right.
Okay, it's going to force you to do something, because there's no way that if you see that you have a losing hand, there's no way that you can stay with that losing hand. There's no way. It's going to force you to come out of your comfort zone and to look at these other options that we know about, in order to be able to survive. Because the average person is not a criminal, so they're not going to necessarily try to do anything illegal. So it's about finding legal options that are out there. And I think if we don't do anything else on these broadcasts, it's to just let people know that there's hope. But it all begins with taking the initiative to realize I'm broke. you got to,
sometimes people have been broke so long they don't even know.
They don't realize it.
I guess you're right.
If you're healthy and you think you're broke, or you think you're not broke, have one sickness hit you or your family, you'll know what broke feels like. And the medical people are like piranha fish. You're already suffering from whatever malady that has befallen you. You're sick, and they want to sell you a $40 aspirin, and they're horrible, man. So what are we going to do? We got to look for a way out. And, we're always searching for the way out. Is there a clear-cut path? Yes and no. But number one, it's not going to be your job. Now, insurance can help mitigate some of the issues that we run into financially. Matter of fact, everybody should have insurance. Now, what kind depends on who you are and what you're trying to do. There's a bunch of different kinds of insurance. Insurance people are always stepping on each other's toes, trying to sell the best kind of policy. A policy. Well, one of the three, depending on your situation. You can't just tell somebody what policy to get. But, you work it out, you get with a licensed professional. Don't just listen to somebody on YouTube. Get a licensed professional that can look at your personal situation and figure out what is better for you. And a lot of times you won't be able to afford what's better for you. It's just the way it is. I say everybody needs a $1 million life insurance policy, and they're gonna go crazy and be mad at me. So I don't know your personal situation. You might be able to do for more. You might need. You might can do for less. Who knows? So sit down with someone, licensed professional, or or read a book.
So, you know what, Dennis, you've said before that I think everyone needs an insurance policy. Let's talk a little bit more. Why do you think that's so important? What is it serving? Because a lot of people in our community, though they will get insurance, is not the best for them. Why do you think they should
Well,
look
to
what's
me,
that?
it's like when you go to the store, buy a bar of soap, do you just grab any bar? No, you look for one that's good for your skin, or you look for one that has oil of Olay in it, or perfume, or you want the nice little colors or whatever. Insurance is the same way. But the why is really crazy. I tell people, I run into people who say, oh, I got $10,000 insurance. Well, why did you get $10,000 of insurance? Well, I just want to be buried. Oh, okay. That's great. Well, what about your house, your car, your assets? Are they protected? Why? I'm not going to be here anyway. So it becomes part of the L in fuel, legacy. We leave a burden for those we leave behind. And we can't be but so selfish about this. We actually have someone we're working with, and they did everything they could to write a goodwill. But boy, that goodwill is turning bad because the family's probably going to end up with nothing. Although, they went out their way to make sure the family had something, they put things in people's names who had nothing to do with the family, which was completely asinine, but it's what they wanted to do. So what happens? Well, the person who's on the insurance policy is going to get money from the insurance policy, but they do not have to pay the bills that's due on the properties. And if the people don't have the money to pay the property, blah, blah, blah. So the insurance policies could have been placed in a way that everything was paid for. And when you talk to someone as a professional, they will tell you what they want to do. No matter what you recommend, I think you should get a lawyer for this. Oh no, I want to do this. That's probably not going to work the way you want. Oh, it's going to do what I say. No, when you bring the law and the legal system into death, the state and the government want their money. And you've heard of taxes while you're alive. There's taxes when you die. So the insurance can ensure that the people you intend to have your worldly belongings get them. The financial part. Of course, the will helps with the non-financial things, or you might consider it non-financial, but Uncle Tim said I could have his car. It better be in that will. And Uncle Tim left me $2,000 I could pay the tax on it. It better be in that will.
That's right.
Or it better be in the insurance policy beneficiary page. These are easy things to do. Anybody here within the sound of my voice think they're not going to transition is cray-cray. Oh, I'm sorry, just in case you don't understand cray-cray. Crazy. We're all going to transition. We all supposed to be adults. So we got to deal with this in an adult manner. Try your best not to leave the burden on your family. I've seen chicken dinner funerals, and I've seen what's that thing that the people used to do? GoFundMe funerals. GoFundMe. And it was a surprise. It was a surprise that person transitioned. I know. And it breaks your heart when they do transition. We're all going to leave. We just don't know when. So, but you have control today. You can get an insurance policy that protects you from the death of your family, your spouse, or even can benefit you as far as if there's cash value. You know, in an emergency, you build up an emergency fund. There are things you can do. You know, don't just run out there and get a term policy and think life is good. Don't run out there and get a whole life policy and think life is good. Don't run out and get a index or a variable universal life policy and think all is good. Have someone sit down and go over your needs. You know, I want my daughter to have my house. Uncle Sam is going to have death taxes and transfer taxes and this kind of tax. So I have to leave her enough money to take care of that stuff if I want her to have it. You know, luckily I only have one child, and, you know, I make sure I do an accounting every night to make sure there's no others coming available. So here we go. You know, this is all a part of our probate legal system, beneficiary, insurance, trust. You know, you want somebody to have something, you know, I owe somebody some money. So I talked to my daughter, hey, if I transition before I pay them, please give them this amount. When I leave, my daughter gonna say, ha! So I have to put it in my papers. This person gets this amount. That's the only way they're guaranteed to get it. So the insurance policy gives you another avenue of legacy protection and personal protection. You know, when I did real estate, I carried a $1 million umbrella policy on top of my policies for my units, because people always want to sue. This is a litigation-filled country. So not only do you have to protect your real estate, but you got to protect you. So now that I'm out of real estate, I still carry extra insurance, because you just don't know. You know, you can sue me for my words. You can sue me because I looked at you walking down the street. I can accidentally brush against you and you can sue me. It's crazy right now what people are suing for. There was one thing, and somebody went to get hot coffee from McDonald's and sued McDonald's because the coffee was hot and won. What an asinine system we have. I just read an article about a cop killing somebody and they blame the other person for killing them, and the other person's in jail and the cop's running free. The cop pulled the gun, the trigger. What? I hear there was some miscounted ballots in some kind of election, and they found out that wasn't true. What? But yet a whole bunch of people stormed the Capitol and they didn't use American flags. What? So you can take your insurance and protect your family. You can't protect everybody, but you can look at the madness that's going on in this world. You know, since we had that 19 thing, people need money. They're desperate. We need to help them learn how money works so they can get out of their desperation. Okay, now I'm gonna get off my soapbox.
Well, I do appreciate you answering the question. And for those who were listening and following, the two big words that he said was protection, protection of self, and protection for your legacy, protection of your property. And that's all of that is part of your legacy. And everybody's protection can be different, but you still, it is important to have that. So remember that in your mindset, that insurance is for protection. It's not just, I don't want to pay that. You have to look at the self and your legacy. Thanks, Dennis, for answering the question so thoroughly.
My pleasure, since Mr. Matt calls me the mouth. You know, it's amazing in my few years on this earth that I've been through a lot of financial turmoil, ups and downs, mostly ups. But if you know what goes up must come down. And every time you come down, you learn a new level of protection that you need to have. You know, when I had real estate, I didn't have protection. When I lost my real estate, I learned about protection. When I had, my stock, I had Enron stock. I didn't know about protection. Nobody ever talked to me about protection. They talked to me about how to make money, how to spend money, and how to get a job to make more money to spend money. But no one sat me down and said, hey, as you build your empire, think about castles. You know, as you build your empire, your castle, your homestead, you have to figure out how you're going to defend it. The castle, they built the moat, filled it with alligators and water. You know, out on the prairie, you better have a rifle to defend yourself against marauders. If you got cattle, you had to have cattle hands and keep an eye on the cattle. Somebody's always after your wealth. People are always looking for the easy way out.
Right. Right.
You know, so we're just a bridge. We're just here to help you understand, you know, some of these protection devices. And I had to learn. I learned the hard way. Hard way. I got a hard head. I learned the hard way. And I was reading books and the information didn't come fast enough. You know, there were books on how to buy real estate, how to invest, how to do this, how to do that. But some kind of way I missed that aisle on protection. But I spent the last 10 years learning about protection. And I have to thank the company that we're associated with, whose trainings are free. So I did the free trainings. And then I became associated with them because I said, everybody needs this information.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, and now we, the three of us, we share, we educate, and we help families understand that protection is the bottom of your pyramid. Debt management is next. Emergency fund is top dog. And then you have investments. I was taught investment first, like most of us.
Mhm.
I have a lot of friends who invest, but they have no life insurance. They're the craziest people I've ever met. They're my friends, so I can call them crazy. You know, as you build, you got to build your foundation because every house of cards will topple one day.
Right.
Absolutely.
And if
Right.
your foundation is not strong, that takes you and your family down also.
And honestly, Dennis,
Right.
that's definitely relevant for finance, but that lesson can go for anything in life. You always deal with the foundation. When the foundation is secure, when the winds come, when the rains come, you don't have to worry about it because that foundation
It's
will
true.
keep it standing.
Yep.
And that's, you know, as you said, you know, I don't know your friends, you know, outside of the two or me and Dr. Jackie here.
Okay, that's my friends. Wow, you know all my friends.
Okay, but
No disrespect to anybody who's a friend of mine. I'm just playing.
oh yeah, we have fun here. But no, for those other friends, you know, that aren't dealing with that foundation, it's critical, man, and they should be called out because I mean, what good is it, you know, what good is it you're going to the apex before you're dealing with the foundation? It won't stand. It never will. Time has proven that over and over again.
Yeah.
You know, Dennis, you talked about, you know, health and time. That's where it is for me. Um, I don't like wasting time. I don't like people that try to waste my time. You know, if there's a meeting that starts at whatever time, I believe in being there. I believe, in fact, in being early.
Early.
You know, and that's critical because I mean, if you're the one who's being invited to something and then you show up 20 minutes late, there's always a disruption because when you come late to the party, you're trying to catch up on stuff that's already been gone over. And it becomes a disruption. And that's then wasting other people's time who were faithful because they showed up on time. And I don't think we're talking about mindsets, and I don't think we think about the totality of what kind of mindsets we need to be in. From a cultural perspective, we have a reputation for always being late, but that's not a great reputation at all. And we should be trying to change that reputation because time is critical. You miss out on 20 minutes or something, that could have been the 20 minutes that you needed in order to get your quote breakthrough on something that you're trying to do in your life.
The importance of time management includes reducing stress, gaining time, reducing avoidance, while promoting reviews and eliminating cramming. Another importance is that managing time helps us to stay motivated while we avoid procrastination. The trick to successful time management is setting up goals that work, while having an awareness of those goals and prioritizing your list of goals. When you set up an effective time management plan, you are growing and upholding a personal commitment to yourself with the ability to be more flexible. When you have a great time management plan, you are giving yourself an individual chance to generate a timetable that works to suit your busy caseload. When you create a good plan, you will soon find time to do all the things that matter most to you in life. In addition, when you have a good time management plan, you are saving your health.
The other part is that health issue, which I will be the first to say I am totally guilty of, because I did a lot of things in my past that weren't good for my health. The biggest thing that I did was trying to work those extra jobs and didn't get the proper amount of sleep and didn't necessarily eat the best things, because when you're in the fast food lane, because you're doing a fast food type of life, then you're going to pay the price. And a lot of the things that I'm going through with my personal health now were because of things that I did 30 years ago that set the wrong kind of foundation. So I'm going to kind of make this my final comment on all of this. So my encouragement is that we think about everything that we need to do in order to get what we want to have, and to be mindful of those processes that are out here that are set up to defeat us or to slow us down, and to get out of that mindset and to move forward, so that what Dennis says all the time, so that we can have success.
Okay, I love your final words. Mindset is a hard thing to change, but excuse me, but you need to have the dedication to your ultimate legacy, that what you're doing is for furthering your family and yourself, and that you all have to help me with this. I'll do this other one. Change, no change. So if you're in a rut and you don't change, you're going to stay in that rut. If you're in a point of lack of education, lack of understanding, and you don't do anything to change that, then there is no change. So what's the saying? If you do the same thing and expect to change,
the definition of insanity.
Insanity.
Yeah.
And so we're talking about mindset. And many of us who are looking at this have a mindset of what it means. I'm an accountant, I'm a PhD, and I think this, and it is because I think it. To come on with an open mind, to listen and accept that there may be other options, and that maybe you need to change how you're looking at it, how you handle your money, how you handle your children and their money and understanding of it. So my final is change, no change. Let's make a change, guys.
All right.
So in the beginning, I talked about an accountant I had a conversation with. And I'm gonna say, how do you fill a glass that's already full?
Hmm.
So her conversation was from a glass being full. So what did I do? I poured some of the water out. I showed her the difference between simple interest and compound interest. And I showed her the difference between counting somebody's money and counting your own money. Rule of 72 is just one of the best things I've ever learned. And just in case you don't know, you take the number 72, you divide by whatever interest rate you're getting or not getting, or for you or against you. So for you, what you're getting, against you, your credit cards, your mortgage, and then you find out the truth, how fast that money is doubling for you or against you. We want to put more of it to work for you. So to your success, empty your glass just a little bit. Thank you.
Thank you for joining us for our conversation on Mindsets Part 2. Remember again to subscribe to our YouTube channel at Fueling Future Generations. Click on the notification bell so that you will always be in tune with what's going on with us, and reach out to our financial professionals at Fueling Future Generations 2020 at gmail.com with any questions or comments.